In the human world, relationships can be complicated. But in the animal kingdom, usually a male and a female meet, they mate, and they go their separate ways. Sometimes they bond for life, sure. But there is one creature that takes bonding way too literally. Imagine if, to find a partner, you had to be hundreds of thousands of times smaller than her. Imagine if your only purpose in life was to find her in a pitch-black void, bite her, and then slowly dissolve. We're talking about the deep-sea anglerfish. For decades, scientists couldn't even find the males. They thought they didn't exist. It turns out they were looking right at them. They just didn't realize that the tiny parasites stuck to the females were actually their husbands. Welcome to the darkest love story on Earth. Welcome back to Creatures of the Dark. Today, we're descending around 2,000 meters down into the bathypelagic zone, also known as the Midnight Zone. Down here, the pressure is strong enough to crush a car like a soda can. The temperature is just above freezing, and it is dark. Eternally dark. This environment creates a massive problem for evolution. Food is scarce. You can go weeks without seeing another living soul. If you are a specific species of fish, the odds of running into a member of the opposite sex are statistically almost zero. So nature had to get creative. It had to create a mating strategy so extreme, so bizarre, that it sounds like science fiction. Today, we're breaking down the phenomenon of sexual parasitism, a strategy where the male literally lives as a parasite on the female's body. We're going to look at the history, the biology, and the horrifying reality of the male anglerfish. To understand what's going on, we have to go back in time. When biologists first started hauling up these monsters from the deep in the 19th and early 20th centuries, they noticed something strange. They were catching anglerfish, these massive, bulbous creatures with the famous glowing lure on their heads. They examined hundreds of them, but every single one of them was female. They looked everywhere for the males. They found other tiny fish in the nets, small, distinct-looking creatures, but they classified them as a totally different family of fish. They looked nothing like the anglerfish. They had no lures. Their jaws were different. They were tiny. It wasn't until the early 20th century that a biologist took a closer look at a female anglerfish that had these parasites attached to her body. Like everyone else, he assumed the female was just sick or infested with worms. But when he dissected the parasites, he found something shocking. These weren't worms, and they weren't a different species. They were full of sperm. These were the males. For years, science had been staring right at the males, but because of the extreme sexual dimorphism, the massive physical difference between males and females, no one recognized them. Let's pause and look at just how different these two lives are. First, the female. She is the tank. She is built to last. She has a massive mouth, an expandable stomach that can swallow prey close to her own size, and of course, the bioluminescent lure, the esca, filled with glowing bacteria to attract food. She is the queen of the abyss. Now, look at the male. He is born with a tragic destiny. In some deep-sea anglerfish families, the male is barely a fraction of the female's size. He has no lure. His mouth isn't built for hunting. In fact, in many species, his digestive system is barely functional. From the moment he hatches, his biological clock is screaming. He has a body loaded with energy reserves, but once that runs out, he dies. He cannot hunt effectively. He cannot sit and wait. He is born with only two real advantages: an extremely sensitive sense of smell and eyes specialized for picking up the faint glow of a female's lure in the darkness. He is a living, swimming locator, a heat-seeking missile in the dark, and his fuel is running low. Imagine the desperation. You are a tiny speck in the largest habitat on Earth. It's pitch black. You are starving. The female releases pheromones, chemical signals, into the water. Because the currents are slow down there, these scent trails can linger. The male picks up a trace of it. He turns. He swims. He follows the gradient of the scent, getting closer and closer. Finally, he sees it, the ghostly glow of her lure. He doesn't flirt. He doesn't show off bright colors. He doesn't have time. If he loses her, he dies. So he rushes in. He approaches her belly or her side, and he bites. Normally, if you bite a much larger predator, they eat you. But she doesn't. She ignores him, and he locks on with specialized teeth designed to hold. This is where the magic, or the horror, begins. He releases enzymes from his mouth. These enzymes start to digest his lips and her skin. The flesh between them begins to break down until the boundary between him and her disappears. They physically fuse together. I want to take a minute to explain why this is scientifically insane. If you have ever heard of organ transplants in humans, you know it's difficult. If I give you my kidney, your body will probably attack it. Your immune system sees foreign DNA and tries to kill it. The male anglerfish is foreign DNA. Technically, the female's immune system should attack him, kill him, and reject him like an infection. So how does this work? Research published in recent years found something incredible. Some deep-sea anglerfish have drastically altered parts of their immune system. They lack key genes that normally help produce immune cells, like T cells and certain antibodies that attack anything with different DNA. In other words, they have given up a big chunk of their ability to reject foreign tissue, just so they can permanently fuse with a mate. It's an evolutionary trade-off of massive proportions. Once fused, their blood vessels connect. Her heart now pumps blood into his body. She provides him with oxygen and nutrients. He is no longer eating, he is being fed directly by her circulatory system. Once the blood connection is made, the male is done. He has achieved his life's purpose. His body begins to atrophy. He doesn't need eyes anymore. It's dark and he isn't going anywhere, so they shrink and disappear. He doesn't need fins, so they waste away. His brain reduces to the bare minimum needed for basic function. He transforms from a living, swimming fish into almost nothing more than a small, living reproductive organ attached to the female. And he stays there, alive, but barely. Whenever the female is ready to spawn, she releases her eggs, and he releases sperm. And here's the kicker. She doesn't just stop at one. Scientists have found females with multiple males fused to her body at the same time, a kind of living harem of husbands, all melted into her skin, providing genetic material on demand. It's easy to look at the anglerfish and think it's grotesque. The male loses his identity, his body, and his freedom. But in the midnight zone, survival is the only thing that matters. This strategy ensures that when two anglerfish finally meet against all odds, they never, ever lose each other. It guarantees the next generation. It might be a nightmare to us, but for these creatures of the dark, it's a perfect design. Thank you so much for watching. If you stuck around this long, comment down below. Would you rather live in the deep sea or in outer space? I want to hear your answers. If you want more nightmare love stories and extreme survival strategies from the deep, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Creatures of the Dark, and click this video right here to learn about a creature that might be able to live forever. See you in the dark.